Hello, hello, my style icons. Welcome back to Life in Style with Brianna Cantore. That is me, and this is your mental vacation, the best destination to be, besides maybe Monaco, which the Monaco Grand Prix looked like so much fun. It is my dream to get there someday. I go to the Miami Grand Prix, which is a blast, and I'm so lucky to live so close to it. But Monaco is definitely a dream. I loved seeing all the celebrities in attendance. Kim Kardashian looked amazing in that Gucci runway black sparkly gown. Ugh, I need to get there, so let's manifest that. Anyways, today's episode is one I'm really passionate about. We're going to be talking about all things fitness, from the importance of fitness to my current fitness routine that does change and evolve as I change and evolve, and my fitness hot take, a fitness trend that I'm just not into and I think could be stressing out our bodies a little bit too much. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, first, I want to talk a little bit about the importance of fitness. And for this part of the show, I did do some research so that way I can inspire all of us to either continue our fitness journeys or start one. It's never too late to start a fitness journey and get your body moving. So, let's see. Physical inactivity is one of the leading risk factors for global mortality, which is when I read that, that really took me aback because I am someone who has honestly always valued fitness and really relies on movement for a lot of things. And whenever somebody isn't as into physical fitness as I am, it really shocks me a little bit. But I know there are a lot of us out there, and no judgment. If you've never worked out a day in your life, if you are somebody who just isn't into fitness, please don't feel like I'm judging you. I just, from my perspective, can't understand that because of how much I love fitness and I love moving. And to read that it's one of the leading causes of death globally, physical inactivity, it really blew my mind. And so that only inspired me more to create this episode, because if I reach one person and inspire them to start their fitness journey, then that makes it all worth it, right? The next fact: regular exercise reduces symptoms of depression and anxiety as effectively as medications. This is according to some studies. So, this is maybe a little bit of a hot take, but I can say that as someone who has experienced both depression and anxiety, I do rely on physical fitness as my medicine because I do not take pharmaceutical medication for my depression or anxiety. If you really commit to it, it can work, but it might not work for everyone. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that it is a route that you can take if you don't want to go on medication, or if medication isn't working for you. This was really insightful to me. I didn't realize there were as many studies as there are about this, and that some of the studies do show that symptoms of depression and anxiety can be healed through physical fitness as effectively as medications. Less than 25% of American adults meet the recommended guideline for aerobic and muscle strengthening activity. That is a pretty small number. So, again, that number also makes sense considering that physical inactivity is one of the leading risk factors for global mortality, but also shocking because we've also seen such a boom in the wellness industry, but yet only less than 25% of us are getting enough physical exercise. So, very interesting. And that was related to Americans, 25% of American adults. The cognitive benefits from physical activity include increased brain derived neurotrophic, one of those words I'm not going to be able to pronounce, factors, BDNF, which help with things like memory and learning. So basically, functionality of your brain. And so not only does physical activity affect our breathing, our oxygen, our lifespan potentially, but also the way our brain works. It's all related. And there were so many more benefits to physical fitness. I could go on and on about this, but I chose the points that resonated most to me to focus on. But just know that the benefits of fitness go way beyond what I just read. So, a little bit about my fitness background. I started dancing around 3 years old. I danced until about 14, never competitively, but 3 or 4 times a week. So, enough to get that regular physical movement and exercise, and enough to make me really fall in love with movement. It was an outlet for me, and dance is one of those things that's a sport, but it's also creative. So, I really enjoyed it. Once I quit dance, I joined the gym. Shout out LA Fitness. I was around 14 or 15 years old and I joined my local gym. And to be honest, back then I didn't really know what I was doing. I'm still learning about strength training and different ways to move my body, but I totally didn't know what I was doing. So naturally, I just started with the treadmill and the elliptical, the more aerobic things. Then I started taking their Mat Pilates classes and immediately fell in love with Mat Pilates. Probably be probably because it is related to dance and I really connected with it. I loved how much it focused on the core and core strength and also helped me strengthen my muscles overall. So, really fell in love with Mat Pilates there, and I also took things like step classes and Zumba, and then I went on actually when I was around 19 or 20 to get my Zumba certification because Zumba really had a boom. It was really one of those fitness trends of the moment, and it's still very popular, but if you remember back, I wanna say around, like, 2012-ish, it had this crazy moment, and I did go and get my certification. I continued yoga and Pilates throughout college and really fell more in love with Pilates and was introduced to yoga then during my college years because I went to college in New York City, went to FIT, and yoga is really big there, was really big there at the time. When you grow up in a suburb, I feel like, or at least back then, I didn't see a lot of yoga or know a lot about it. But when I moved to the city for school, there were just so many yoga studios and there was free or donation based yoga. So really got into yoga during college. And most recently, I got my Mat Pilates certification from Equinox. Shout out Equinox. The program was amazing. If you're going to get certified in Mat Pilates, I highly recommend them, especially because they really focus on classical Pilates as created by Joseph Pilates. So I really value the education that I received from Equinox. And that takes me to today. Let's get into the fitness routine that I am currently doing today. And it is not primarily Pilates. So, the main form of exercise I am getting into today isn't Pilates, isn't yoga. It's actually strength training. And it's crazy to say that because it's something that I've committed to in more recent years. And honestly, started really focusing on it just this year. And so far, I feel so great and am mad I didn't start consistently strength training sooner. I mean, of course, Pilates has been great, but I finally found the right foundation to my fitness routine, and it's in strength training. And shout out to the Bostics, Lauren and Michael Bostic, especially Lauren, who's always preaching you need to lift heavier, you need to strength train. I had to hear it about, I guess, 57 times from her mouth for it to actually resonate and for me to execute on this, but I finally did. And she was right. They were right. Strength training is so important, and it is now the foundation to my fitness routine. So I've been strength training now about 3 days a week. Currently, I'm using the NKO app by Kendall Tool, and that's been really great. I'm in a 12-week challenge, and I'm loving that all the workouts are right there and they make sense and they're in order, and I just follow this challenge. Not sure how I'm going to continue my strength training once this challenge is over. I'll have to message the app and see what they recommend doing next. But so far, it's only been 8 or 9 weeks, and I already see my body composition evolving and growing stronger. And I am able to lift heavier. I thought I was strong before. Now I'm like 10 times stronger than when I started. It's insane. And I finally am seeing the physical results I want to see. I've said this before, but I think it's okay to enjoy both the mental results and the aesthetic results of fitness. I have grown to love myself for where I'm at, but also want to continue to challenge myself and evolve in all ways. And that includes my aesthetics, I'll be honest. And I really have a vision for my body. I just want to look so strong and so healthy and be so sculpted. I just love when I feel sculpted and toned. And I'm really seeing that change, that evolution now. And I think that prior to strength training, I thought that that sculpted, toned look that I was looking to build on my body was all coming from Pilates, which Pilates does do a lot of sculpting and toning, but not enough for what for the results I'm trying to achieve, at least for me. We are all bio individual, so how our bodies react to exercise, movement, nutrition, that's going to be different case by case. But in terms of myself, so I'm loving how my body composition is evolving from strength training. My grip strength is stronger. My overall strength just feels incredible, and I can't wait to see where I go in this journey. I'm thinking eventually I will need a personal trainer if I can invest in one because I really want to keep going with this. And as much as I love working out at home, I do want to dip my toes in personal training because I actually have never done personal training before. And I think that I would really like it. So, some of the benefits of strength training are building lean muscle, increased strength and endurance. It supports a healthy metabolism, improves your posture and alignment. That is something I always have to work on because I'm always on my phone, hunching over. I also have hypermobility in my back, so I have to work on my posture. It supports hormonal health, which is so important in women because our hormones are all over the map. We have this 30-day cycle of seems like every day is a different day. So, supporting your hormonal health naturally through exercise is amazing. Helps our muscle mass and creates a toned and sculpted look, like I said. And again, the benefits go even further than this. Here are the ones that resonated with me the most. And if you are just starting your fitness journey or are looking to modify your fitness routines a little bit, please make sure strength training is in there somewhere. Even if you start with just 1 day a week, it's better than nothing. And it will get you in the habit of doing it. And then you'll want to do more. Right now, I'm at 3 days a week in the Kendall Tool program. And on the other days, she fills it in with different types of mobility, or I fill it in with different types of mobility. So, strength training, again, is the foundation to my current fitness routine. And then on the days that I don't strength train, I fill it in with things that I love to do, with movement that I truly enjoy. And that is one of the most important things that you can do is engage in movement that you truly enjoy. Do everything in life out of self-love, and when it comes to your fitness, do it out of love. Do the Pilates class or the yoga class because you love it, not because you feel like you have to, not because you're checking off a box, not because it's the latest fitness trend. So make sure the movement you are engaging in, aside from strength training, I think that should be everyone's foundation, but that's just my opinion. But make sure the movement you are engaging in is movement that you love, and that alone will create an evolution within you. So I am working out 6 days a week, one rest day on Sunday, 3 days of strength training. On those other days, Mat Pilates. Of course, I love Mat Pilates. I got certified in it, and it is a fantastic regimen. It's a fantastic form of movement. I started Pilates around the age of 19 years old at LA Fitness and in New York City in college. And it was created by Joseph Pilates, who designed this method to heal his own injuries and ailments. He originally called this method the contrology. So if you're looking for online Pilates classes and you see the contrology word used in the description, that is a good sign that it is a classical mat Pilates routine. And it improves strength, flexibility, posture, again, and that mind and body awareness because you're also wanting to breathe a certain way through Pilates. You are connecting your mind to your core, your powerhouse, and you are really creating so much alignment when you do Pilates. So it is great if you are feeling disconnected from yourself. Pilates is low impact, it's joint friendly, it complements strength training. Like I said, I think those two should get married. They work great together because also back to one of my earlier points, Pilates was designed to heal the body. So, and when we strength train and we're training to failure, we are making these tears in our muscles so that way they grow stronger, and the Pilates will support that healing process. Now, this is something you might not know about Pilates, and it is a little bit of a warning. So it's something that annoys me. So around the year or in the year 2000, the US federal court case determined that Pilates was a general term and it can be used to describe all kinds of fitness and methods and training. So that has led to me going into Pilates classes and thinking that I'm going to get a class close to Joseph Pilates' original contrology or at least inspired by it, and walking away feeling like the instructor taught me something totally different and not that effective, to be honest. So I would be careful when you're going to studios or taking an online class. If you're really looking for that classical mat Pilates, look for the word classical. Look for the word contrology, especially when you're searching YouTube. I have taken classes that follow the original contrology design by Joseph Pilates on there, so they do exist. And I'm not saying they have to be exact to what he designed, but whenever you go too far from that, you're really losing the essence and the purpose of what he created. And what he created does work, and he did it with such thought and care and practice. And so I appreciate a Pilates class more when it does have the soul of Joseph Pilates' teachings in it. So that's just something to look out for when you are investing in Pilates, especially at these studios. The classes are not cheap. And so if you're walking away feeling like you did moves that you could have done on your own at your own house and they weren't really choreographed well or weren't designed to purposely heal or strengthen a certain area of your body, then that's unfortunate. We work hard for our money, so we should get what we pay for. And sometimes we're not at these trendy studios. So just be aware of that. So, as you can tell, probably I love movement, and there are other forms of exercises or exercise styles that I do partake in, aside from the strength training and aside from the Pilates that I fill my days in with. I just really love being in motion. It really is my medicine for depression and anxiety, and I love seeing where I can take my body. And I'm grateful and blessed to be able to do so. So, with that being said, here are some other fitness styles, routines, and method that I do engage in on my days off from strength training. And number one, this is newer to me, and it's called P-Volve. It's the Jennifer Aniston workout, which Jennifer Aniston, a queen, she's always been really health conscious and really strong and really into her fitness routine. She came across P-Volve and loved it so much she invested in it. It is a blend of strength training, physical therapy, and Pilates, or that's how some people describe it, anyways. You really work on your posture and your mobility. Why I fell in love with it is because you are moving on so many different planes of motion. You're tilting, you're standing on one leg, you're challenging your balance, you're using these different props like the P-ball and the gliders. The multiple planes of motion just really feels so fun in the workout. You're on this square grid with different numbers. So I almost feel like when we were kids and played DDR, which don't get me wrong, I would still play that to this day, but it's almost like a DDR mat and you're putting your feet in different places and twisting your spine, twisting your body. They have strength training classes now. It's really so fun. It feels like a combination of dance and strength training almost. And so I'm so enjoying it. I spontaneously took a class at their studio in New York City in Soho the last time I was up in New York. I loved it. Instructor was so nice. I totally recommend if you live in New York or are visiting New York. As soon as I got home, I purchased the kit and got to work at home. And they have a great, amazing digital library. So you can do this at home if you aren't near a studio, and I'm having so much fun with it. It's one of those things where, and we should all do this with the things we do, say I get to do this instead of I have to do this. So, for example, I get to strength train instead of, oh, today I have to strength train. It's like, no, I get to strength train. That's amazing. It's one of those things I don't even have to train my brain to say it. I'm like, oh my God, I get to do P-Volve today. Because I write out a schedule for myself, a weekly schedule of fitness. So that keeps things fun and organized for me. So loving P-Volve, P-Volve, shout out. Great, great, great workout. I see big things for you guys. I mean, you're already huge, but I think this this style of fitness is going to continue to grow, and the mobility and working on different planes of motion is going to be something you're going to be seeing in more and more fitness studios come to life. I think that's going to be the next thing for sure. Another method I'll fill in my days with is yoga. I love yoga. I have been taking yoga classes at a studio in Little River, Miami called Wild Thing. I really recommend it. They have heated and non heated. I choose the non heated. I'll tell you why later. My favorite style of yoga is yin. It's slow and meditative, and you're holding the poses for each for a few minutes, which really helps you release tension. And I store trauma in my body and it becomes tension. I mean, I'm trying not to do it anymore. I've been on a healing journey, but that is something I've struggled with. And I think it's something a lot of us struggle with. So, if you relate to that, yin yoga is amazing for it. It's not a flow like vinyasa. It's much more slow and you're holding these different poses for the amount of time that it really takes for your body to release the tension and for the stretch to actually penetrate and honestly do something. Because if you're just stretching each move, you know, for 10 seconds each, that's not really doing much. So, yin yoga, great for recovery. Great for recovery. Add it in there if you're a heavy athlete, exercising a ton, or injured. Highly recommend yin yoga. But I also do like vinyasa, and that is more of your flow, more of your traditional yoga that people think of when you think of yoga. Typically, you're thinking of vinyasa. You do your sun salutations, you're in planks a lot, which is great for that arm strength and that core strength. And some studios even have a power vinyasa, which goes a little bit faster and adds in some more sculpting moves, which I like as well. But my favorite is yin. And then beyond that, I also like dance and bar. That's been so great for my mental health. I can't even tell you. So, bar helps me focus, it helps me slow down and be more patient. And it also helps support my posture, balance, and stability, which I was talking about before. Posture is something I definitely need to work on and keep improving. And then for dance, I've actually been using Kinergy, which is a platform created by Julianne Hough, who I love. And their style of dance fitness has really helped me release that tension I was speaking about in my body. Like, I just get it all out because they have you doing these breaths and these motions together that really feel like therapy. So thank you, Kinergy. And dance is just one of those things that it does evoke so much happiness. I mean, even if you just, and sometimes I do this, put on music and dance around my apartment for 20 minutes, I end up feeling like I'm just so high on life afterwards. So get dancing, guys, get moving. If you are one of those people that doesn't have a fitness routine and you're not you need some way fun to start, I recommend just putting music on and dancing it out. Like, it's not that serious. This is life. It should be fun. It should be light, as fun and as light as we can make it because there's always going to be those hard things we have to deal with. So be silly, put on your favorite artist, and get your boogie on. Just love Starbucks, honestly. Okay, so next, thing I do for cardio, and honestly, I mainly do it for my mental health, is walking. My belief is that you should get as many steps in a day as you can. Don't stop at 10,000 if you can do more. Don't be discouraged if all you got in was 5,000 because that's all you could do that day. Just get in as many as you can get. After breakfast, walk for 5 minutes if you can. After lunch, walk for 10. After dinner, walk for 20. Get up early in the morning before work and walk for 30, walk for 40. As many steps as you can get in, get in. I'm constantly saying, all right, Brooklyn, we need to go. We need to get up. We need to go get some more steps because we've been sitting for too long. I've been working for too long. We, as modern day humans, sit too much. You're going to hear me say this probably on every other episode of this podcast, but it is true. And we need to walk more. We need to move our bodies, and walking is great for so many things. Longevity, healthy aging, it's low impact. It's something, if you're blessed, that you're going to be able to do throughout your whole life until the end. Even when I talked to my mom and she didn't go for a walk yet that day, I'm like, go for a walk. Even if it's cold, put a jacket on. Or if the weather's not optimal, go on a treadmill, get a walking pad for your home. They have relatively affordable-ish ones on Amazon. I just got one. It also is great for your digestion, which I rely on it heavily to help my digestion because I have had digestive issues in the past. And it is great to walk after meals. If you can walk even just 5 minutes after every meal, you are doing wonders for your digestive tract and for your metabolism and for your mental health. Walking helps your mental health so much. It got me through COVID. It got me through really dark times. And when you're outside and you're walking, you really just start to notice how beautiful the world is. Like, just look up at the sky. Like, how do we have clouds? They're gorgeous. How do we have a sun? It doesn't make sense, but the sun is beautiful. And the trees. Ah, I love looking at trees. I could look at trees all day. Really just unplug from the stressors of everyday life. Get outside and walk and see the beauty of the world. If you're not seeing beauty, it's because you're not creating it and you're not appreciating the simple things. And then, lastly, something I've just gone into more recently, I spoke about this in our skincare episode, rebounding. I bought a mini trampoline on Amazon. And rebounding helps boost circulation and it helps oxygen delivery throughout the body. So afterwards, you are tired, but you feel great because you have all this oxygen flowing. It's low impact cardio. It supports the lymphatic circulation in our bodies. This is why I got into it because I believe that my body has a tough time with the detoxification process. And I wanted a way that was easy and fun to help that process, help that lymph flow. And I saw so many girls on Instagram jumping on these mini trampolines with their LED masks on, and I got influenced. And let me tell you, the first time I got on it, I was like, "Oh my god, I feel like a little kid again." It evoked so much happiness. So now not only is it good for my lymphatic system, but it's also been great for my mental health. So I definitely recommend rebounding, not only because it's good for you, but because it's so fucking fun. And like I said before, life should be fun and light as you can make it, because we're only here for a certain amount of time. And let's make it beautiful as we can. So that's my movement. That's an overview of what I'm doing to move my body. I walk every day. I work out 6 days a week. And my current goal is to grow stronger. I am building strength. That is the mode I'm in. I have a vision, I have goals, and I get to do it. Not I have to do it, but I get to do it, and I'm blessed to be able to move my body in the ways in which I can because I know not everybody has certain physical abilities, right? So I'm very grateful for that because without my movement practice, I don't know where my mental health would be, transparently. And with that being said, I do want to touch on a fitness hot take, like I teased earlier in the episode. So, my fitness hot take is literally hot. I believe that heated classes are an overhyped trend. I've done several of them, and anytime I've walked out of them, I've felt really drained and just not good. And I think for a while I was confusing that with, oh, I feel so drained and run down. It must be because I worked so hard and that's a great thing. When in reality, the way in which I feel afterwards is not great at all and shouldn't be confused with, wow, I was just really challenged and feel really great because of how much I was challenged. So those are two different things. You can go and strength train to failure and feel, wow, that was tough, but still have an underlying feeling of feeling good, which is how I feel after I strength train. And then you can go and do something that your body doesn't like, deplete it, run it down, and those are the things you need to watch out for and stay away from because that's going to do crazy things to your body, spike your cortisol, do more harm than good, and potentially cause some health issues. So, like I said, I felt exhausted and depleted afterwards. And I noticed that when I would do workouts outside in the Miami heat, that was a completely different feeling than going inside a studio and taking a heated class. Don't get me wrong, working out in the Miami heat, extremely tough. I don't know if you know how hot it gets here, but it gets extremely hot and humid, and I'll sweat a ton, but still have that underlying sense of feeling good after. Whereas in the studio, in a heated classes, I feel like shit, exhausted, depleted, run down. I'm not the only one that's noticed this as well. And actually, on the scene in Miami, on the fitness scene, a lot of instructors that teach heated classes are dealing with some health issues now and are pulling back from teaching as many heated classes because their bodies are breaking down a little bit. Another thing you need to think of are the humidity levels and the ventilation in these studios teaching heated classes are all different. So in some, they may be ventilated better, humidity may be lower, so you may actually feel good or okay afterwards. Whereas others, if the ventilation is poor, humidity is high, that may also contribute to that rundown feeling. Now, another thing that has crossed my mind about heated in studio classes is these studios are typically not, or at least I've never seen them, not built like saunas, okay? So you have these rooms that are being heated, very warm, but they're not built like saunas. And the warm air from the heaters, they speed up the off gassing process of volatile organic compounds from things like the equipment in the room to any rubber, the mats. I always think of the cleaning products, like if they're cleaning with really heavy chemicals and now this room is heated and now these chemicals are more prone to being in the air. I just wonder like how safe and healthy these environments that are being heated actually are because they're not technically built to be a sauna like environment. Not that they're getting as hot as a sauna, but some of the classes I've been to get to 90, 100, 105 degrees. So I almost feel like when I go to a heated class, which I don't go anymore, but when I did, they're like cooking synthetic materials and releasing all of that junk into the air. And I'm someone that really tries to create a healthy and happy home through air filters and plant-based cleaning products like Branch Basics and stuff like that. So it is something that has crossed my mind, and I'm wondering if there's any monitoring of that, or if the studio owners of the heated classes are even thinking about that, because I do see a lot of nasty cleaning products in the studios, and I just wanna tell them, "Just switch to Branch Basics, please." And another note I wrote down is that when you exercise, you take in more air. So, like, if this air in these heated rooms is just filled with chemicals and you're taking in more air because you're exercising, it just seems like not great for your body. And I'm sure that some people are feeling benefits from their heated classes, and that's great. But I wanted to speak about this because if you're someone like me who is confusing the the depletion with a healthy challenge, then I wanted a bell to go off in your brain as maybe I'm someone that shouldn't be doing this. Because, like I said, we're all bio individual. What works for me might not work for you. And if you're like me, you're on the more sensitive side, more in tune with your body, then this might not be the right workout for you. But I do think we are going to see a decline in all of the heated classes popping up eventually. I think it's a trend. I don't think it's going to last. And I think that what would be really cool is that if we ever wanted to approach heated classes differently, we do it in a more sauna like safe environment. I think that would be much better. So, that was a lot of information. Here's the takeaway: strength training is the foundation of my fitness. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I'm hooked. Thank you, Michael Bostic, for the recommendation. On days when I don't strength train, I fill in my workouts with things that I love, things that spark joy, but also feel good on my body, such as Pilates, dance, and P-Volve. I get my cardio through walking. It is heart healthy. It's something I plan to do until the end of time. And I stay away from things that feel harmful to my body, that deplete my body, things I don't like. I avoid anything too extreme. I avoid spiking my cortisol to the point of inflammation. And I avoid burnout because burnout is not effective. And so, with that being said, that takes me to my outfit of the day. Having a little bit of allergies today, so wore my sunglasses. They're Balenciaga. Jacket is the Frankie shop. I wear this oversized leather bomber to death. It does pay for itself 10 times over. And my shoes are Cult of Coquette, something like that. I'll link them in the show notes. And I want to close every episode with an affirmation. Today's affirmation is: my body, my soul, and my mind are stronger every day. My body, my soul, and my mind are stronger every day. Have a beautiful day. Be blessed. I'll see you next time.